guys, it's Katie, and thank you so much for joining us on our channel Tate and Bugs, where we share with you our simple and beautiful life here in the country, one video at a time. It's Christmas Eve. Jarrod is out delivering packages, and both of the boys are napping at the same time. It's a Christmas miracle. So I think I'm just gonna do something that I want to do and not something I need to do. There's lots of stuff that I need to do. But I think I'm gonna do something fun, and today I'm going to sew. Things that I love to do. I love to do lots of things, but one of them is sewing. I love sewing and it's so much fun. I don't like using patterns. They confuse me. I like to just draft and do whatever I can figure out, especially with scrap materials, and that's what we're gonna do today. I saw this picture on Pinterest and thought it was the cutest thing. And when Toby was little, I used like a little sleeping bag in his bed every single night. Carter still has the one that I made Toby, but I thought it would be fun to make an upgraded version. I'm gonna be using these two sweaters. This red one, Jarrod's mom was cleaning out her clothes and threw it in her get rid of pile, and I knew right away. I saw it and I was like, I know exactly what I want to make with that. And then the second one, I was looking for a liner of some sort for the inside of the sleeping bag, and I was looking for some Sherpa of some sort and I couldn't find any. But when I came across this sweater in my get rid of bucket, I loved the feel of it. It's really, really soft and silky feeling, but still super cozy and warm. So I thought they would make the perfect pair. I've never made anything like this before, so let's get into it and see what we can come up with. Okay, so my first step is going to be cutting the sweater where I want the actual sleeping bag part to be. Okay, so here we've got our two fronts and then our back. And now it's time to sew the edges together and then reverse them so that the inside seams aren't showing. I'll show you. Okay, so I'm not the greatest teacher, but you're gonna have to just try to follow along. And I'm gonna do my best. So, if you sew the lining and the outside together at the same time, like just go ahead and sew them together, that's not going to make any difference where if you didn't have any lining, because say that's what you did and then you go to sew the whole thing together, on the inside of the sleeping bag you're going to have this rough edge showing. Does that make sense? So we need to figure out a way, and I haven't done this yet, so I don't know what I'm doing yet. I have to figure it out. We have to figure out a way to create a lining, like a separate sock that goes inside the outer lining. So I think what we need to do is we need to sew the outside layer as one piece and then the inside layer as one piece, and then we can stitch them together around the edges. So that didn't last long, did it? Carter Lee. I'm just trying to sew something. It's been 10 minutes. Okay, so here's our two pieces, the outside and the liner. The liner I left quite a bit of overlap just so that I could make sure I have a even hem around the edge and not have anything short. So let's lay it inside and pin it. Okay, so this is the part I was telling you about where we need to make sure we put them together so that we don't have raw seams on the inside, like where the baby's feet will be, but in between the two layers. So we are going to sew it right side to right side so that when we stitch it at the base and we flip it around, we're gonna have the outside and the inside. We don't necessarily want it to be like even and then overlapped, because then you'll see this at the bottom. So what I'm thinking is if we could pull this liner up a little bit and then sew only sweater to sweater, that would look a lot better. Okay, so to do that, we're gonna pull the 2 layers apart like this. I'm gonna stitch maybe like 1/4 inch past the 2 seams where they meet. Alright, so let's see how this turns out when we flip it right side out. Look at there. Nice and pretty edge. Alright, the last thing to do now is to sew the edges together and then sew these edges onto the end of the button strips, if that's what you call it. Alright, it's all pinned, and we are going to do a straight stitch down the length because stretch doesn't super matter in the length, and then we're going to do a stretch stitch along this top part so that it can remain stretchy. Alright, finished it! And I can tell already it's going to be too small for my big old Carter boy, but I think it was fun to do. It was a fun project, and it gave me practice for maybe when I get to make another one someday with a larger sweater. Overall, I'm pleased. There's a couple things I would have changed. Number one, I would have figured out a different way to sew the 2 lining pieces together, or the liner and the outside piece on the top. I might would have hand tacked it so that I didn't ruin the whole look of the seam or the seamless edge of the sweater. That's one thing I would have changed. Another one would be obviously the size of the sweater, because once you get your edges sewn, it shrinks that much bigger, or that much more, I mean. I definitely am pleased with the inside. The inside turned out pretty good, how I was planning on it turning out. Sewing down the sides of the buttons, and even along the top it looks good on the inside. The only thing is right here. When I sewed the edges together, I really like how there's no live seams in there, or no live, whatever you call it, frayed edges, no live edges, except for this, where the button strip is. And if I did it differently, I would have, and I guess I could still even do this, rip stitched the width of the button strip, tucked this under, and then top stitched it so that we had absolutely no live edges under there. But overall, I'm really happy. I think this would be a great size for a newborn baby. Not my newborn babies, because they're big newborn babies, but for a normal newborn baby, I think this would be a good size. But definitely having a little bit more wiggle room would be beneficial. So I'll be keeping my eye out for larger button-down sweaters and larger button-down sweaters so that I don't have to spend the extra time to make the buttonholes and sew the buttons on. That'll save a few extra steps for sure. So the last thing to do is see if little Carter likes it, or if he even fits in here. Thank you guys so much for joining me for my first, not even tutorial, I don't know, for my second technically projects with Tate and Bugs, and we'll see if we do more projects in the future. I will need some practice before I get to the tutorial part of things, but for now, thank you guys so much for watching, and join us on our next video. Alright, so that was fun. We made something out of a sweater, but we still have some pieces left. We've got 2 sleeves with some beautiful cable knitting on it, and we can't let that go to waste. So I think we're gonna make me a beanie, and we're gonna make Carter a beanie, and let's get started. When Toby was a baby, I made him this beanie out of a sweater, and I made it to where the edge could be folded up like this and cuffed. This fits him perfectly, and it never ever slides off. And so we're going to use this as a pattern. See how nice and smooth that looks? And then we've got our cuff hemmed on the other side so that when you roll it up at the stopping point, it is all the seams are in. So Carter's beanie is done. I still have to try it on him, but I'm gonna work on mine real fast and get that done. And for mine, I'm going to use the top half of the sleeves, like where the shoulder was, and then I'm gonna use the collar because the collar has a finished edge and I won't have to worry about hemming it, and I think I'm gonna make it the cuff part around my head. Okay, so I'm just gonna take it and put it the center on the top of my head where I think I want it, like this. Let's see, I can kind of see through the holes, so I'm gonna make sure this is centered with my head. I want it to be here. So let's cut it here. Here's about where I marked it. Okay, so here's my starting point. I just pinned the edges, so try not to stab my head in the process. All right, so far so good. The curve fits nicely already. This is what I was talking about when I said I don't know how to do a tutorial. Because usually I don't know how to do stuff, like actually do it. I have a different method and I usually just figure stuff out as I go. Usually. Not bad. All right, let's sew this. Looks like a beanie. Let's try it on. Okay. So far so good, huh? We need to sew the cuff on right side to bad side so that when I put it on, can you even see this? When I put it on, it will fold nicely up. Makes sense? All right, let's do that. All right, there she is. We've got the right side to the right side, and I used a stretch stitch, so hopefully it will fit. And I did not center the buttons, I put them off to the side. All right, ready? This isn't very glamorous. Hang on, hold up here. Let's see. All right, so here's the cuff, and it's ginormous. That was a lot easier to fold it and then put it on. So I think I'm gonna take this button off. Sorry. Okay. Okay, that's comfortable. And then right here, instead of a big bulging hole, I'm gonna hand stitch on the other button right here. These baby bags is a lot of times when you have a blanket wrapped around the baby, it's constantly falling off, but this way you literally just like hold them and they stay in their little bag, and I love it. It's not too small for you. It's not too small. It fits you good, huh? Brother's trying to get you. He's trying to get you.